as far as I'm concerned.
What's good, people? You are now listening to As Far As I'm Concerned. It's your boy Reese Rawson sitting across the table from me. I have the beautiful Miss Teresa. Teresa, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. So I have Teresa on, and we're going to go over some of the topics that I went over in the last episode when I told y'all I wanted to have somebody else's opinion on some of the stuff I was talking about. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. So the first one we'll start with, and I don't think I'm going to go in order the way that I did last time. So the first one we're going to start with is breakups aren't just for couples. So I didn't have an explanation for what that meant. So I made my own explanation, and whether it's wrong or not, I'll hear about it later from the person that sent that in. But what I feel like it means is whether you're a couple, whether you're friends, whatever you are, a breakup is a breakup either way. So, how do you think that you should handle breakups depending on what type it is from the person that you're quote unquote breaking up from? Or actually, let me make it easier.
Good, because
breaking up with somebody that you were in an actual relationship with, what do you think's the best way to handle it?
Definitely not through a text.
Is that experience talking, or
maybe, or just I was in my 40s before I learned the term ghosting.
Gotcha.
And that is such a coward's way of ending, a relationship, even if it wasn't a serious relationship, even if it was just a friendship, or maybe it was leading to something. But if you don't want it to go on any further, be a man and
I have so many questions.
Something.
I have so many questions now. So, first of all, you said be a man.
Well, I'm sure women
do it just as much.
I know, but I'm talking from my experience. That's happened to me a couple of times.
Okay, so since you said that, what do you think is the most effective way to do it if you decide to not just ghost somebody and just be non-existent all of a sudden? And let's not even say from being a couple, let's say from being friends, because I think that probably happens more often than not.
I think it depends on the reason. If there's a specific reason, then I think you should let the other person know.
All right, so I'm going to give you a reason. I'm going to think of one. Okay, so y'all are friends, but the other person became interested in somebody else, and they're focusing on that person, or that's what they claim they're doing, is focusing on that person.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your idea of the best way for them to tell you that, hey, I'm focusing on this person versus our relationship, whatever it was? And I have a specific reason for this question too.
Well,
actually.
yeah, and I mean that's happened to me too, because most of the time, for most of my life, my best friends have always been guys.
Okay.
And it never fails. As soon as a woman comes into the picture, I don't hear from them anymore. As soon as they break up, they're blowing up my phone again. And it's not like it's just friendship. Just friendship, with the guy. But it's like, and I actually said something. I don't have much of a filter a lot of times. And I'm like, dude, why is it that when you're getting some, you can't talk to your friends? Is it that good? Really. Because that person's probably not going to be there forever.
All right.
Because I'm a pessimist. Did I say narcissist? No. I'm a pessimist, I guess, when it comes to relationships.
So for people listening that might have or potentially have or have already went through that, what should they be saying to that other person to let them know that that's what's about to happen versus just not answering texts anymore, not responding on social media, whatever the case may be.
Well, you mean this bugs me. This whole thing bugs me because it's like, why would anybody want to know how to break up with a friend over a piece?
I would say because it happens all the time.
I know, but that's the problem. It doesn't have to happen all the time. You need to get your priorities straight.
I have literally a situation that happened to me that exact same thing, and just what we're talking about is exactly what happened. They got with whoever, and I just plain out didn't hear from them.
But was it their choice or was it the...
Well, I don't know because they never told me. It was one of those situations where I knew what the reason was, but I was waiting for that person to say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Which would have been, for me, I would have accepted it. I mean, I might not have liked it, but I would have accepted it because we were friends. But to this day, that person has not said, okay, look, this is what happened. And I don't know if it's that they couldn't or that they didn't know how to, but like, I feel like I'm really easy to talk to. So I'm more like, just tell me. Like, I'll deal with it. If I don't like it, I don't like it, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it.
I think most of the time what happens is that you get so caught up in the new relationship and you want to spend all your time and energy with that person that you just kind of put everybody else on the back burner.
That differs for me. I'm just not that person. Like, my friends are my friends for a reason. So if me and that person are going through something, or if it's something that maybe I haven't experienced before, guess who the first people I want to say something to it about it is? It's going to be my friends because I want to know what they think.
Yeah.
And I also want to know if I'm missing something, like if I'm blinded and not seeing something. So.
Yeah, but that's not the same as actually maintaining that friendship relationship. I mean, if the only time you're going to call them or talk to them is to talk about your relationship,
I don't cut. And again, this is just me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I don't cut my friends off for people. Like, because in most cases, those people that I call my friends were there before you got there. And like you said, they're going to be there after you're gone. So I don't cut them off. Now, I might limit the amount of activities I partake in with them because of the other person. But as far as just plain out not talking to them, I won't do that. And I don't know if that makes me different than other people or not, but it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that. But, I mean, if I have to confess, I may sound a little hypocritical. Because I know that there have been times when I have been in a relationship when I have poured every part of me, into it. And then I got called out on it. I mean, it wasn't just ignoring friends, it was ignoring family.
Oh, my friends can't wait to call me out.
Yeah, I got called out on it, and it's, I couldn't deny it. I mean, it was true. So, I think it's all about learning how to balance your relationships.
I got another question. What if the relationship itself with you and not the person that's causing the problem, the other person, what if it's a fairly new relationship? Y'all not extremely close, but y'all are friends or whatever. Do you handle it the same way?
I'm not really understanding what the friendship relationship.
The friendship relationship.
Okay.
If it's fairly new, because like the people I'm talking about or the situations that I'm referring to are situations where I'd say at shortest at least a year or two. At long, I've never even had none of my long-term friends do that to me at all. But I guess the question is, if the friend is a fairly new friend, do you handle that the same way as with a older long-term friend?
I mean, I think I would just let them know what my situation is. Yeah.
Okay.
my life is really busy right now, and I'm trying to work on this relationship and see where that goes, and that takes time.
So how do you explain if they start asking questions like, so because you have a new relationship, now our friendship is going to suffer for it? Like, what do you say? Because at least one person is going to have questions the minute you say that. Or do you expect them to just be like, all right, well, talk to me when it don't work out or whatever?
Even if it's a new relationship, friendship or whatever, I don't think you should completely cut them off, because there's a reason why you became friends to begin with.
Right, right.
So I don't think that cutting someone off over a love interest is going to be a good decision for anybody.
Okay, well, it's good to see other people's
I mean, how would
on
you
it.
feel if you knew that your new girlfriend or whatever decided to cut off her friends just to spend more time with you and to focus all her energy on you? What does that tell you about the girl you just started dating?
See, my personal opinion is I would not want her to do that, because, excuse me, I don't want her to feel like that was something that she needed to do. Like, I want you to have your friends, regardless of what we're doing. I want you to have your friends, because I'm not going to cut off my friends, so I don't expect you to do it. And if I have a choice in the matter, no, I do not want you to cut your friends off, because it seems like to me, that's an easy way to get stuck in, okay, now I've cut everybody off and maybe this didn't work out. So now I got to worry about going back and trying to rebuild what I cut off just for this person. I'd rather you not do that.
So it's all about balance then.
Exactly.
So then the question is, how do you tell someone you're cutting them off because of a love interest? That shouldn't even be a question then.
You don't.
That's what I'm saying. You just don't.
Don't cut them off. I think, and again, this is my opinion as far as I'm concerned.
That's my opinion too. So I guess we'll agree on that one.
All right,
find a balance.
Pretty good. Find a balance. If it don't work, don't blame me. All right, so
It's your fault.
No, it is Teresa's fault. So the next one is learning to accept help or friendships when it's being offered to you. And then I wrote, everything is not a setup, because that's how I tend to look at stuff. So what that means is I'm really horrible at accepting help. Like, I won't ask for help, and if you offer it, I'm probably going to turn it down, regardless of what my situation is. Now, there are people that I will accept help from depending on what the situation is, but you will not hear me ask for help at all, because it's just not me. But I also know that at some point, me included, you have to learn how to be able to ask for help when you actually need it, or accept it when it's being offered to you when you actually need it. So, is it something wrong with me? Or does most people feel like, I'd rather not have help, I'd rather do it myself? Because that's exactly where I'm at. Like, if I'm struggling with something, very rarely will you hear me say, I don't know what to do about this, please help me. Well, actually, you'll never hear me say that, but
I think it just depends on the person, and I think it depends on what kind of help you're referring to.
Any.
Yeah.
Literally
See, I was,
any.
I've been in a situation a couple of times, because yes, I've been married twice, and both husbands, the second one left me for another woman. The first one was fooling around with other women. Man, what does that say about me? Anyway, I mean, so, I had kids, and both times, what do? I come crawling back to my mom, and had to put my pride aside, because I am rather prideful.
Maybe that's what it is with me then. Maybe I have
pride.
too much pride to ask for. But okay, it could be. But I also know if I figure out how to deal with it myself, then for me, there's kind of another notch in my belt of something else I've figured out how to overcome. And if it ever happens again, I know how to deal with it now. Versus if someone helps me through it, then all I figured out is I can find somebody else that can help me through it. And yes, I know that might not be right. That's just my particular mindset.
Pride.
Okay, we'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, that's pride. I mean, I think one of the coolest apps that's out there now is Cash App. My kids love it. It's perfect. I can send money to my kids if they need it, and that can be a curse too. And but it also has a lot of pitfalls too, because in that particular situation that we're referring to, my mom is infamous for just sending money to me through Cash App. I don't ask for it, and I'm like, Mom, stop. You know, because it makes me feel, you know, it makes me feel so inadequate.
See, I don't have anybody sending me money. Just in case people listening want to send me money, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. But if somebody was sending me money because they thought I needed it, I would send it. I swear I would send it back to them, and I do it. My mom is really good for that. Like I can be at her house and just say something that has nothing to do with a financial situation. Can I have one of your cigarettes? I forgot mine. And she'll be like, here, take this and go buy something. I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. Mine are in my car. I just don't feel like walking to get them. Like, and I won't accept it. And she'll get mad at me because I won't take it. And I'm like, I don't need it. I was just saying that I don't feel like getting up, walking all the way outside to my car to get them. That's the only reason I said it. But if somebody thinks that I'm struggling and I need it and they send it to me, especially without saying nothing to me first, I'll send it right back. Like, I don't really want it. Like, I don't know. Okay, we'll go with pride.
Pride.
We'll go with that.
Definitely pride.
But at the same time, my nature is to figure out how to get it. So once I get it, and be like, see, told you I ain't need it. Just took me however long to get it. But I feel better about it. And I don't like owing people. I don't, even using my mom as an example, I know she would never ask me back for anything that she gave me. But in my mind, now I owe you this because you did this. And I won't do it. But I'll do it for other people and I expect them to take it. So I don't know where that puts me, but I just, no. And I give people better advice than I can give myself, I think. So
I think we're all that way.
I definitely am. Because I can have the exact same problem as you, and I can talk you through it and tell you, give you things that you should do to take care of it. But then when it comes to me, I'm like, all right, so now what am I supposed to do? So, is that your advice on that topic?
Put your pride aside, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
that's all you can do.
Other people.
I mean, if you're trying to
she's
learn
not talking to me at all. She's talking to y'all.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm guilty too, or y'all are. But sometimes we have to think about the bigger picture. And when it comes to, for example, my kids, I would have to put my pride aside if I needed help, and that help was going to benefit my children more than, not just me.
That's true. I would still try every idea that I had before. Even with my kids, I would try everything I could possibly think of before it actually came out of my mouth that I needed help, which has worked for me. Knock on wood.
But not everybody.
It's worked for me.
Not everybody is in that same position.
Well, yeah, because some people can't wait to ask for help just so they don't have to deal with it. I think that's what I'm getting at too. I've never been that person.
But then there are some people who don't have any other way.
True. Well, okay, so give me an example of not having any other way. Because I disagree.
Okay. A disabled mother with children, and the deadbeat dad ran off and left them.
Okay.
Okay. She can't get disability
Okay.
because our system sucks.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Because there are people who sincerely need the disability and can't get it, and then there are people who don't need it and get tons of it. So this woman is in this situation. She has small children. Father takes off. She is disabled, can't work, and has not at this point been able to receive assistance.
Is this somebody that is willing to ask and accept help, or somebody like me that wants to figure out how to do it for themselves?
Well, I'm sure that... Well, I shouldn't say that. There are a lot of people who would rather do it. No, because it's not an accurate statement. There are a lot of people in that in a similar situation that would probably be capable and then just want to ask for help because they don't want to work for it. But I'm sure there are people out there who sincerely have tried everything.
See, I understand if you've literally tried everything you can think of, and then that's when you ask for it. I understand that. Like, that makes sense to me. The other ones that you mentioned that would rather just ask for help in the very beginning so they don't have to figure out how to do it, that's the ones that bother me.
Yeah, we have a lot of those.
Because there's a lot of avenues and opportunities to be able to get things with actually very little effort on top of it. But some people just refuse to do that. But that's also the same people that can work but don't want to work, or whatever the case may be. So.
And that's the big problem that we're having right now.
Oh, I know.
So many places are shutting down or limiting their hours because they can't get people to come
because
out
our
and
government
work.
gave a shitload of free money out.
Let's go, Brandon, right?
I mean...
Sorry. No, not sorry. Never mind.
All right, so we'll move from that one. That was funny. All right, so we went over breakups. Okay, so this is something I do struggle with. So trust issues with people that don't deserve it. And what I took that to mean is you putting that blanket of having a trust issue with somebody over someone who doesn't deserve you not trusting them. So I don't think this would be a new person in your life. I think this would be, somebody that's known you for a while or something like that. But all of a sudden, the amount of trust that you allow that person is a lot lower than it used to be. But from no fault of their own is why they're receiving this. So I am partially guilty of this, because that's all I'm willing to admit to. Whereas there is a few people that I trust with my life, and then the rest of them, if I can't see you, I don't trust you. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, but that's not the same. You're saying that at one point you trusted this person completely,
Mm-hmm.
and then now all of a sudden you don't trust them as much. You're having these trust issues with them, but the other person didn't do anything to lose the trust.
Exactly.
That's BS.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
That's complete BS, because you're not going to lose trust in someone without something happening.
I can tell you why it started, but it didn't have... That's what I'm saying. It started with someone else or a different situation that had nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, they're in that same line, so now you fall into place with everything else because of this person or this situation. So my trust levels are really low. Unfortunately, you're catching the backlash of that because nobody has the amount of trust that they had before. So that's what I mean by they don't deserve it.
Well, yeah.
And here's another example, just for anybody that doesn't really follow that. A lot of people, and I'm only going to say guys because I've never been a woman, so I can't explain that. A lot of guys suffer from trust issues with women that stemmed from somebody else that woman dealt with before you met them. So it's kind of the same thing. I can give a better example.
Okay.
For instance, whatever you may have went through with the last person you were in a relationship with, to me, determines what you will allow and not allow from the next person you're in a relationship with. Make sense?
Yeah. I'm feeling a target on my back right now. Oh,
Join the crowd. But that's what I'm saying. So when I say they don't deserve it, the new person or the other people don't deserve it, is generally because something else that had absolute zero to do with them, but now you're carrying that with you forward. So everybody else is kind of in that path of it. Now, the only thing I can say that's a positive about that is there are probably 3 people, which is kind of bad, but there's probably 3 people that I don't put that on. So I still trust them implicitly with my life. But then everybody else was like, now I'm looking at you with a suspect eye, like, I don't know. Do I need to question what you're saying and what you're doing right now? Because, and then immediately it's like, because this is a lot closer to what this other person did or said, and it turned out to not be what it was supposed to be. So
that is completely normal. I mean, that's just the way life is. Your past experiences and personal relationships is definitely going to have a direct effect on how you handle future personal relationships. And that's not always a bad thing, because, when you've had some disastrous past relationships, you couldn't see the red flags at the time. And then, hindsight is 20/20. And then you see them now. So then you start to look for them in future interactions.
So how do you respond when you get called out on it?
You're going to have to earn my trust, baby. You're going to have to earn that trust. Trust is not something that it's not a right. It is a privilege.
So point taken. I actually agree with that, because right now I'm the same way. But when that person that doesn't deserve you to question their trust, but you are because of something that happened to you previous, then how do you explain that part?
Okay, so what have you done to deserve that trust?
I mean, it depends on
You see what I'm saying? I mean, especially if it's a new relationship, then you have to earn that trust with each other.
Well, no, I mean people that initially had a pretty good level of trust from you, but because of whatever that happened, now that same level of trust with that same person is a lot lower than it was. But it's not because of anything they did. It's kind of like a credit score. Like I paid everything and I paid some stuff off. Now my credit score is lower than it was before.
Well, my advice to that would be seek medical advice. Go to a counselor. I don't know. I mean, really. I mean, if there's nothing else, and you have done, let's assume that someone is doing that to you, okay? And you have done everything in your power to reassure your lady, and she is still having these issues no matter what you do. Well, it's not about you. It's about them, and they need to deal with their issues. It's their issues, not yours.
I agree with that too. The only problem is I'm the one that doesn't allow the same level of trust with people that I did, say, a year ago. So I won't, even though it'd be really easy for me to put that off on somebody else like it was them doing it, it's definitely me. I'll be the first one to tell you. But in defense of myself, I will say, because of that very thought process, I've also found out a lot about people that I did instill, a decent level of trust in, and did figure out that it was way too much even then. So it's kind of 50-50 whether I feel bad about it or not.
that would be an issue that you need
Yeah, you're a counselor now.
to deal with.
Even if you don't want to be, because that's definitely me. I'd be the first one to tell you. But part of me is glad about it because with me, when I started to question things with people, I will find stuff out that I didn't realize before just because I'm questioning it. The biggest difference is I won't necessarily call them out on it when I find out about it.
Are you talking about someone's past?
No, just in general.
Oh, because I'm a firm believer in leaving the past in the past. And if your trust issues are coming from your partner's past, then that's still your issue.
It's not even partners, it's friends.
Okay.
More so than partners, actually. But anyway, so we've discovered that I need counseling on that, too. Dude, if I ever get a counselor, she or he or whatever is going to be pissed at me. Why are you just now showing up? But, all right, like I said, good to have a different opinion on that and a different outtake other than mine. Even though I kind of don't feel bad for it, but...
Well, nobody said you had to feel bad for it.
And I'm not going to. So, the next topic is... I'm going to skip over seasonal depression a little bit because I'm aware of it and I know people that suffer from it, but I can't give any real insight to how they should deal with it because I haven't dealt with it myself, so I don't know. Like, I know this past Christmas and all that stuff was different for me, but I wouldn't put myself in the category of depressed about it. I might have felt some kind of way about it, but I mean, to me, it is what it is, and it's only gonna be bad if I let it be bad. But I don't have any real, what I feel like is good information to give somebody about how to deal with it.
Seasonal depression doesn't have anything to do with circumstances. Like this year, you're having to celebrate Christmas without certain loved ones or whatever, and I mean that would be hard on anybody. But that is not seasonal depression. Seasonal depression is simply when you will experience more depression during the winter months.
See, that's why you're here.
And that really has more to do with the fact that you're not getting as much sunlight. You're not getting the vitamin D. Vitamin D is... I'm serious. The vitamin D is...
I'm sorry.
It's true.
Look, the people that are listening to this, the ones that know me, know exactly why I'm laughing, and I'm not going to
get outside. That's your cure for seasonal depression.
Yeah, because you ain't getting the D. That's what's wrong with you.
I mean, if you can't get outside, they do have these lamps. And they're for that. In fact, I have one at my house a friend of mine gave to me. I have never used it because I haven't had to. But he actually gave it to me for my daughter who experiences depression quite a bit, or she used to. And it was usually worse during this time. And it's because she wasn't getting outside. You have to stay active. You have to have sunlight. You have to have that light in order for those chemicals to...
Or as I said... But see, that's why you're...
But that's serotonin and the dopamine.
I don't have that issue, so I can't...
Well, I don't either. I just know about it.
I just know about it, too, because I know a lot of people that suffer from it.
Yeah, but that's why. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Seasonal depression happens typically in the wintertime. Why? Because you stay inside.
It does. Yeah, it does.
You become less active, and you're not getting as much sunlight. I am my happiest in the summertime. I mean, like,
then I'm the opposite because I do not like the summertime. I don't like being hot.
I stay in the pool. I mean, when I say I stay in the pool all day, every day. And my mood is always way up there. It's because I'm getting tons of sunlight and I'm getting exercise and I'm doing me.
Yeah, I'm complete opposite. I don't like to be in the sun. I mean, that sounds bad. I don't mind being in the sun. I don't like being hot. If I'm hot, apparently I get moody. If I'm hot, yeah, I guess that's how we explain it. I just don't like being hot. So I'm not a fan of summer. Fall and winter, on the other hand, perfect.
I love
Because
fall.
it's easier to stay warm than it is to stay cool.
Just
So,
get naked. Stay naked. You live by yourself. You can just stay
I'm
naked.
trying to help other people with their trauma, not make their trauma worse. So, y'all can do what y'all want to, if that's what you want to do.
Keep an oscillating fan on you.
True. All right, so that's why I said I was going to make that particular topic short, because I'm not. And even if I was depressed, I wouldn't admit it. That's just me. I wouldn't admit that I was. I know I wouldn't. So the next one is something that I do have experience in currently, which is getting back into dating. And I wrote this that
It sucks.
I lost my flow. And the only reason I said that, and only a handful of people that listen to this podcast knows what I'm talking about, because they know me. So for y'all that don't, too bad. But no, for y'all that don't, like, it's been a long time since I've had to show interest in people and meet people and stuff like that. So 18, 19 years ago, I would have been on top of it. Now, it's just like everything feels awkward. So asking for your phone number, extremely awkward to me. Asking you questions to try to get to know you better, very awkward for me. Because I don't know. I think the other problem is people get offended so easily now versus when I had to do that stuff before. It's hard to gauge what you can and can't say without becoming a red flag yourself. Like asking someone to come to your house with no intention or anything, just to hang out. But now that is, I guess, technically a red flag. And don't even get me started about online dating. Yeah.
Oh, I have some stories, but they're not appropriate. So.
Okay, so you're on, as far as I'm concerned, with Reese Ross, which means being appropriate is kind of like making fun of the little kids that need 13 cents a day to be fed every day. So you can be inappropriate. No one's going to care.
So you're saying you want to hear some of my online dating
Absolutely.
disasters? Oh, my word.
Yes.
I think one of the most
In
disastrous one was here in Roanoke, actually.
That's believable already.
Yes. Well, I mean, first of all, I had double book that day. I had two dates. So I had one for lunch in Bedford. He was a lawyer here from from Roanoke. So completely boring. I felt like I was on an interview. That's why I hate those first dates. Those first dates suck. You feel like you're being interviewed, and it's like, and it really sucks when you're like eating, because it's like, okay, are they watching how you eat? Are they watching what you eat? Are they,
Am I chewing really loud?
Yeah. Are they judging me? But it was really, he like scarfed down his food like really quickly, and it was, and then I'm sitting there being all dainty with my salad, but I can't really get a bite in because he keeps asking me these questions. I mean, it was one question right after the other. It was like being in an interview, and I'm like, oh, I'm so done with this.
I mean, in fairness, you said he was a lawyer, right?
He was a lawyer. I know that.
Was he a prosecutor?
No, he was corporate.
Oh, okay.
One of those boring ones. Sorry if anybody out there is a corporate lawyer, but
I'm gonna go with I doubt anybody that's listening to this. Well, that's not true, but still.
But then that afternoon, so I have to. After that one is over, I rush home. And I change to go to the next one. Now, I would never let a guy come pick me up. I always drove my own car. Because you don't want him to know where you live at. That's one. I don't want
to be honest about it. Like, yeah, I'll drive. I don't want to
know where I live. That's true. But the other reason is, like, I want a getaway car. I want to make sure that I could get away. So I would always meet in public. Safety first.
That explains a lot, actually.
So, yeah. So, those were my rules, which I've broken now. But, so I'm at home, and Mom said, well, why are you meeting this guy in Roanoke? Why don't you just have him come to Bedford to meet you? I'm like, Mom, because I just had a lunch date in Bedford. There aren't that many restaurants. Surely somebody's going to see that I'm with a different man, and I'm going to look like a hooker. I don't want to do that. I am not up for sale. But, so I go to, I think it was Applebee's here in Roanoke. And I met this man. He was a little bit younger than me. Cute. Oh, my goodness. He was really cute. Very preppy style. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Had a great conversation during dinner. I thought all was great. And then we go outside, and it's still light out. I mean, summertime, so it's still light out. And he said, well, I don't really want to end the date yet. Why don't we go up to the Star? I was like, oh, I've never been there.
Classic.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, where's your car? He said, oh, I Ubered here. And I'm thinking right away, oh, fucks.
So he immediately put himself in your vehicle.
I'm like, man. I mean, because that's one of my things. They have to have a car. They have to have a home, a job, a car. Those are 3 things. How hard is it to meet those 3 expectations? Home, home, job, car. Not that difficult, okay?
True.
Reaching to the bottom of the barrel at that point, when those are the only 3 things that you require. So... So anyway, he said, and then he had an explanation. He showed me all these pictures. He said, I totaled my car just like a week ago. And he said, my insurance just came through for me to be able to go purchase another car. And I haven't been able to find one yet that I like and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, well, that could be a reasonable explanation, why he Ubered here and he didn't have a car. So I'm like, okay. Because he seemed like a really cool guy. He was really nice and... just fun conversations. I'm like, okay,
See, hold on. Let me stop you because I got a problem with this already. How do you, as a man, suggest going somewhere, especially to the Star, because it's not close by. I mean, it's not far away, but it's not close by. But how do you make that suggestion if you're not the one getting you there? So you're literally suggesting, hey, I want you to drive me up this mountain to go see the Star.
Or maybe he thought we would Uber there. I don't know.
I just...
hail a taxi. Okay. I don't know.
Maybe that's my age talking. Maybe
no,
that's
I
what
think
it
you're
is.
Exactly right. I mean, you're right. And he was about your age, actually.
That's the equivalent of, I forgot my wallet. Can you pick this check up?
Oh, no. I'd walk out of there so fast. Hell no. But... no. So, okay, to continue my story, because it gets better, I let him drive my car.
What?
Because I don't know where the hell I was going. I didn't know how to get to the Roanoke Star.
Gotcha.
So I let him drive, and so we go up there, and it was nice. I mean, it was really nice. He was, it was cool.
You're better than me already.
Huh?
You're better than me already, because I'd be damned.
I know. So we're walking on the trails and stuff, and it was really nice. And then he said, let's go down to this. There's another trail by the river. It's a really cool place. I'm like, okay. So we drive down there, and it's a paved, walkway by the river, and then there's this old bridge.
Yeah, this is the Greenway. I walk it all the time.
Okay. This is where it gets bad.
I might have seen y'all and been like,
my gosh.
that didn't look good.
So we're walking, talking. It's cool. We go on the bridge. We're just looking over the water. I'm facing the water. He's just I guess he was behind me. I didn't realize he was behind me though. And I turn around because I didn't see him. He wasn't beside me. I turn around. He's right behind me, and he lays one on me. I mean, this massive kiss. And I'm like, whoa, People are walking by. I'm embarrassed. And then I look down, and dude, after one kiss, had the biggest freaking boner. These plaid long, preppy shorts or whatever. And I will say this, he must have been packing because it was pulling the whole leg short, the shorts leg out. And he kept trying to push it down. And I'm trying not to act like I noticed it, and I was so embarrassed. So I said, well, I think it's probably time to go, So we start walking back, and he goes, tell you it gets worse. He goes, "You want to go to a hotel room? Just to watch a movie. We'll get a bottle and we'll watch a movie." No. No.
I mean, okay, again, I'm going to stop you because at least for all the males listening, at least be slightly more subtle about it if she doesn't have the same amount of enthusiasm that you might have at that point.
And why a freaking hotel room? Why did it have to be a hotel room? That was a major red flag. Like,
I mean, because he already didn't have a car, so
I think he was married. I think that was the deal. I think that he was married.
that could have been it too.
But so it gets worse.
Really?
Yes. So after, of course, I turned him down, and then he kept asking, trying to joke about it and keep asking. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not going anywhere with you, and I think it's time to take you home. And so on the way, he said, I need to stop by the liquor store. Okay, anything that gets you home. So we stopped by the liquor store, and it was a rough area. And he gets out of the car, and he said, lock the doors. It is like the car is off and the windows are up, and it's like 90-some degrees out. I'm like, I gotta turn the car back on. It was so hot. But I go, why does he want me to lock the doors? And then this tall dude with this big trench coat on, comes walking over to the car, to my side, and flashes me. Like some homeless guy, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. But he flashes me. And I'm just like, oh my God, hurry up. I don't remember the guy's name now. But, so anyway, then we go to take him home. And he pulls up on the street and turns on the hazard lights. Just pulls off and just in the street. I said, where's your house? Oh, it's up over the hill. I'll just walk. Why can't we just pull in the driveway? And I can let you off. No, this is fine. I'm thinking, you married motherfucker. He had to be married. I mean, why else? Oh my gosh.
I mean, or the homeless guy was his roommate. And they were both homeless.
He ended up leaving some. He bought a bunch of airplane bottles of liquor instead of buying a full. He left some in my car. I drank them.
Yeah, it sounds like you might have needed them.
Yeah. He left he had some glasses, like reading glasses too, that he would put on his head. He left those too. They went out the window somewhere between Roanoke and Huddleston.
All right, so I can honestly say today, at this point, I have not had a bad experience yet. But when I say yet, that doesn't mean that all the experiences have been good. That means that there's not a lot of experiences to talk about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that? Like, what do you mean? But I don't. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like about trying this stuff now, but I've not run into, that would be me knocking on wood, a bad experience yet where I have a story about. And believe me, when I run into one, y'all hear about it. Because even though I'm not paying y'all in my therapy right now, y'all being everybody that's listening, but I think it's because I'm not willing to let stuff go on that I don't like, good or bad. So there's a good chance that I'm going to say something that lets you know that I don't like it. So if we go out on a date and you show up because you Ubered there, I'm going to say something about it. Like, what? Are you
There's three expectations. That's it. That's bottom of the barrel shit. Three expectations: job, car, home. I don't know if that makes me sound desperate or just really, really easy to please. I don't know, but those three things are a must.
Well, I think if you are quote unquote trying to date, you should at least have 2 out of the 3.
Which 2?
A job and a home, at least. I can understand the car thing. I was just without my vehicle for 3 weeks. So I can understand that if that's the issue.
But that you still have a car. It's just being worked on.
True,
That's different.
true.
I mean, like not having a car or not having a license.
All right, so the license thing, yeah, that's a whole different thing.
Grown man not having a license. Come on.
Because that means you don't. I don't know. You still might have a car. I won't say anybody's name, but I know quite a few people that do not have a license, but they have a car. So.
Yeah, one of my daughter's ex-boyfriends, he didn't have a license, and he drove this old, I think it was like a Bronco or something, with farm tags on it. Because you didn't have to have a license if you have farm use tags
Right.
on it. And I'm like, but you don't have a farm. You don't even have a home.
I don't think you have to prove it, though. I think you just have to pay whatever the fee is at the DMV to get them.
He's driving it all over Lynchburg and Bedford. And
It's almost not a bad idea considering all the taxes and stuff you got to pay when you do have tax.
That's one of the things I always tell my daughter because, she's not married. My youngest isn't married yet. And I told her, I said, when you are talking to a guy, I said, you make sure they have those 3 things: a job, a car, and a place to live.
Well, y'all just know that if what I'm about to say happens, I got the idea from this episode of the podcast. So if you see my car and all of a sudden I got some bright red and white farm use tags, I'm just trying to save money. That's what it is. I'm trying to make sure that everything's good, and I'm trying to save however much tags cost every year now. So I wouldn't actually do that.
I know you wouldn't.
Just because I wouldn't want people like, he's got farm use tags. I don't want to be more noticeable than I have to, and I feel like if you got farm use tags, then everybody sees them.
Yeah, and I don't think it would go on your car.
I've seen cars with farm use tags on them, though.
And it's like, I mean, how do they even justify that? How does the DMV even go for that? I mean,
I also had a stretch where I was running into people that was riding lawnmowers to the store and stuff. One of them was I was at McDonald's in the drive-thru, and so were they on a riding lawnmower. And then I seen another one parked, and I took a picture of it. And then I pulled in a convenience store a couple days later, and there was another one that had a trailer on it. So,
you were in Bedford then, weren't you?
No, I was in Roanoke. That's what makes it even worse. Both times. Look, if I was in Bedford, I probably wouldn't have said nothing about it. I would have probably kind of understood. But no, this was 10 minutes away from where we're at right now. Not even that far. And both times I took pictures of it because I'm like, all right, well, it happened like 3 or 4 times, but 2 times is all I took pictures of. Because after the second time, I'm like, all right, the first one was a one-off, but now I've seen it 3 more times. So I need to be able to prove this when I tell it to somebody. So, still not a horrible idea. If they made the tags a different color, though, maybe.
But going back to the online dating thing, it's crazy. I don't know how long. I mean, it sucks. And there was this other guy one time. I didn't go out with him, but he was trying to talk to me, and he seemed nice at first, but the first 3 texts, and then he was asking me for pictures of my feet. And I know that's a thing, but I think it's gross. But I mean, no offense to anybody who thinks it's that's sexy. But
y'all motherfuckers nasty. I'll say it for.
Yeah, the whole foot fetish thing, and he kept on, and he was so persistent. It was irritating the crap out of me. So I Googled a picture of the ugliest foot with the nastiest toenails I'd ever seen, and I sent him that pic, thinking, okay, he's gonna get the message. No,
he liked it.
No, he didn't necessarily like it, but I think he figured what I was doing.
That's disgusting.
Then I had one that, of course, is this really young guy started messaging me and told me he had mommy issues. Wanted to know if I'd be his mommy. Really?
See,
seriously?
These are all things that no one will ever have an issue with me about because I don't like people's feet. I don't even like my kids' feet around me. I don't. It's kind of like me drinking after people. I will not do it. I won't drink after my kids. I wouldn't drink after my wife at the time. I can't do it. And I do not want your feet on me, especially, absolutely not. I got a big bottle of liquor right there. I'm good. But
You can chase it down with the bourbon.
no, I'll just drink the
Bring
bourbon.
him out.
But like, if I can deal with the feet if they have socks on them or a blanket over them or something. But I absolutely don't want your bare feet on me. Like, keep that to yourself. You do what you do over there.
But I really like foot rubs.
It sucks to be. I know some places.
Can I take my shoes off now?
You can take them off, but if it starts smelling like corn chips, I'm gonna spray you with something. I'm like, oh, that feels better. I'm just gonna be like, but no, I don't get it. And again, like you said, I know other people have that. That's their thing, but I just no, absolutely not. I don't want your bare feet on me. I'm not going to drink after you. If somebody drinks after my drink, that is now your drink because I'm not going to drink it, including my kids. I do the same thing to them.
I'm the same way.
I drank some of your drink. Well, it ain't mine no more. It's yours now. You can have it.
That backwash is nasty. Just the thought of
Absolutely
it.
not.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Ain't going to happen.
But then there was this other one. This other guy. I actually developed a really good friendship with this one guy. I talked to him probably over a year. Just talking. Never went out, just talked. And we were, friends. And one time he wanted to share something with me. And because we had started talking about, like sexual stuff.
Right.
And so he sent me this picture of a guy. You couldn't see the head, the face or anything. Of a guy laying on a bed with a silk cami on and silk underwear. Pink silk cami and underwear. And I thought it was a joke. And so I sent back all these laughing faces and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so disturbing. It was him. And I really offended him.
Oh,
I was like,
gosh.
I'm so sorry. I mean, I guess if you're into that,
But
I'm not. But
I would think, especially if you're into something that is outside of normal, that you should at least give someone an indication of it before you start sending pictures of it to them.
mm-hmm.
Because I don't possess the filter to not laugh if it's funny. Like, I just don't. So
I couldn't help it. It was disgusting looking. I mean, you could see his junk through the. And it's just not normal to see that through silk panties.
For some reason, he thought you was going to enjoy that. So,
Well, I don't know whatever gave him that idea because I never indicated I was into kinky crap like that.
I'm just, and I will keep y'all updated on the experiences that I have, but I haven't had anything happen worth talking about. I do have a lot of issues with people's profiles.
I'm writing
online.
a book, by the way.
You are?
Yes.
What's it about?
Online dating. My experiences with online dating. And if I ever do finish it and publish it, my name will not go on it. He'll be a ghostwriter.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you.
Yeah.
But
I do have
anyway,
kids, so.
I've tortured you long enough. But I actually learned some stuff. And I'm sure somebody learned something. I learned some stuff. So that's all that's really important. But, so, in saying that, with this stuff, first of all, y'all keep these comments and stuff coming in. Because it's fun to talk about. And also, if you got questions or concerns or comments, you know where to send them, afalcpod@gmail.com. Teresa, anything else you want to say before we go?
Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. And for me, I'm going to holler at y'all and I'll hit you next time. Peace.
As far as I'm concerned, this shit is over.